Hi everyone, I just posted a video where I talked about my yearly favorites and actually ranked all of my yearly makeup favorites, a video that I'm going to link up in the cards for you if you would like to check it out. And I thought it might be fun to actually demo and do a whole makeup look centered around all the products that I have loved throughout the year. So welcome to this video. And I think Lisa just joined us. Hey sweetheart, are you making cookie dough? You make cookie doughs, Hachi. And as you guys know, I bought a new camera, which I am really excited about. Usually I would have to like fiddle around with my curtains during the day because I'm standing right in front of a window, like a pretty large window. So I would have to fuck around with my curtains in order to get the lighting to be right. But I think... And I'm talking to the... Oh, fuck me. I just realized I was talking to the viewfinder, to the flippy screen. I'm so sorry. It's going to take me a while to get used to not looking at that. Anyway, yeah, I was saying that I usually have to walk around with my curtains a little bit to get the lighting right, but I feel like he just gets the lighting right all by himself, depending on the context. So hopefully the lighting is looking okay and I'm not too overexposed. Now, the first product I want to go into is also my #1 makeup product of the year, and that is Glow Last by Auric Cosmetics, a product that I have talked about and used so extensively on my channel. If you've been around any of my videos, you've seen this being used constantly, and you've also seen the way I use it, which is not so much as an actual like highlighter, but more like I don't know, like an under concealer foundation type of product. I don't apply it all over my face. I apply it strategically in certain areas of my face. Speaking of favorites, I'm now going to grab one of my other favorites, which is the mini base from Sonia G. A wonderful brush to apply your cream and liquid base products. And the way I like to use the Glow Last is mostly here to highlight my cheekbones and underneath my eyes, because that is an area of my face that needs some extra care, love and attention. I think it just really helps to keep my under eyes hydrated. It serves almost as skincare to hydrate the skin there. It also illuminates, and I just feel like it makes me look more like awake, which I probably need today because I just got my booster jab yesterday. I'm taking my instant concealer, by the way, from Clarins now, which is also a product that I use pretty regularly. I've been trying to pan this concealer for like a year now and it still won't die. Overall, I feel pretty okay. I also like didn't have much side effects from the first 2 jabs that I got earlier this year. By the way, my booster was also Pfizer, for those of you who are curious. I also got 2 Pfizer shots in the past, so I am all Pfizered up. And I got the jab somewhat earlier than the rest of my like peers in the Netherlands because I work in the hospital, and they sent around booster shots for like hospitals a bit earlier than the rest. I know in other countries they've already been busy with booster shots for a while, so some of you might already have gotten their booster shots and forgotten about it. But here in the Netherlands, people of my age will probably still have to wait a good month before they can get their booster. I didn't really mention any foundation favorites this year just because I just recently discovered the MAC Water Weight foundation, and I only bought it as a substitute for this foundation, which I have talked about previously. This is the Estee Lauder Water Double Wear Nude Water Fresh foundation. It is a wonderful lightweight foundation. I really love these more lightweight, almost like natural looking, a bit dewy on the skin foundations, because they just bring the best out of my skin without really looking too heavy. I think my heavy duty foundation days are behind me. In order to build the foundation, I'm going to use another one of my favorites. This is the classic base from Sonia G. Can we once again admire the ability of my camera to focus so fucking quickly and so sharp? Fuck me, I love that. Anyway, lovely foundation, nothing more to say about it. It's not a new favorite, which is why it was not in my yearly ranking. I tried to include products in my yearly ranking that I have purchased in the past 12 months. A brush from Sonia that I did not include in my yearly favorites only because I've had it for a week, and I think it's stupid to include in your yearly favorites something that you've only had for a week, but I've really been enjoying it, is her Smooth Buffer brush. Is this beautiful sort of like kabuki style brush. It looks very dense, but in fact it applies product very gently and very diffusely. I'm now going to take my Moonlight powder from Hourglass, which I showed in a previous video that I mangled up because I couldn't get into the corners anymore. So I'm going to use as my finishing powder. This is almost done. I think at the end of the year, even if there are a few flecks left in here, I'm not going to struggle with it anymore. I'm just going to retire it because I've used the shit out of this powder and I think I've gotten my money worth, and it's time to move on to the other powders in my collection that need to be taken care of. I'm going to bronze using a oldie but a goodie. This is the MAC Delphic Studio Sculpt Defining Powder. It was part of a summer collection some years ago, and it is one of my favorite warm toned bronzers, especially for the summer, but as you can see I use it all year round, especially when I want something a little bit warmer to warm up my complexion. My second favorite product to be released this year were Pat McGrath's blushes, and more specifically the shade Desert Orchid, which is this gorgeous bronze rose. I could easily use this blush 300 out of 365 days a year and I would be so happy because it is such a gorgeous, beautiful color, stellar formula, beautiful longevity. Just everything about the formula of her blushes is sublime, if I may say so myself, quoting Dame Mother. I think this is a very flattering color for someone of my skin tone. I can say that this is a shade I would recommend if you have a very deep skin tone, because it might be that it doesn't show up on you or the pearl in it shows up a little bit grayish. But for someone of my skin tone and maybe just a little bit deeper, this is such a gorgeous blush. I'm just realizing this video is going to be mostly the Pat McGrath parade because most of my favorites this year have been from Pat McGrath, but it also reflects most of the products that I purchased this year were from Pat McGrath. I've purchased from very few other brands in the past 12 months. Another favorite of mine this year were Pat McGrath's highlighters, and specifically the shade Golden Nectar, which is this beautiful like peachy gold shade. I really enjoy the formula of this highlighter. It has this very lightweight, smooth formula. It doesn't accentuate any sort of imperfections on your skin. It can be a little bit beaming if you apply too much of it. For example, I applied quite a bit on this cheekbone and I went a bit more with a light hand over here, so you can see that it gives a more natural highlight if you don't go overboard, but I usually go overboard with my highlighter, so let me make things equal. I'm going to take my little Real Techniques sponge and spray a little bit of Fix Plus on that, and I'm now going to smoosh that on my face, especially around the cheek products that I applied, so that they melt better with each other and with my skin. So like I mentioned, I got my booster shot, and I can't say that I'm feeling unwell. I have the feeling that I'm a bit sore as if I've exercised a lot yesterday, and I of course have like the pain in my arm, which is pretty standard for getting any sort of shot, including the flu shot. So far I don't really experience any severe side effects. I haven't had a fever or felt extremely sick to the point where I can't really do anything, but I have been taking it a bit easier this morning because I did wake up a little bit sore and a little bit tired. Okay, and my intention now is to use 3 of my favorite palettes of the year. All of them are from Pat McGrath Labs. Let's see whether I can make my plans come true. I'm going to start off with my Utopian Dream palette, and I'm going to take this shade here, which is like a very light, neutral sort of pink. And I'm going to apply this shade through my crease. Also, do you want to hear a little funny story regarding my camera? When I was purchasing the camera, the online shots looked like this. I will insert a photo of that right now for you. And I didn't... The thing is that when I purchased the camera, I didn't really think much of it. And then my husband was looking at online images of it, and he commented on the camera having this gadget for diminishing background noise, and I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, that poofy thing on top. And I was like, oh, but that's not just a pom-pom, that's there for decorative purposes. I honestly thought that because it's a vlogging camera, it's some sort of like a decorative pom-pom, you know, for the girls. And that tells you exactly how technologically challenged I am. I'm blending this shade out. I think it's a really beautiful shade. It's one of my favorite pinks that Mother has ever given us because of how muted it is. She has given us a lot of hot pinks, and while I enjoy her hot pinks are like a very seasonal shade for me. I can wear them and enjoy them in the summer, but not really in any other season. And even in the summer, it's not like I'm going to wear them every single day. Let's dip into another one of my favorite pat palettes of the year, and that is the Voyeuristic Vixen Quad. I'm going to take this deep browny burgundy shade and apply that here in the very outer portion of my eye, a bit as a smoked wing liner. Sorry, I'm probably getting boring for you, but unfortunately that is the type of shape for my eye that I enjoy, and I stick with it. I'm going to take the fluffy blender and just try to fluff a little bit of that deeper shade together with the pink, just trying to make them a little bit more seamless, no harsh lines and stuff. You know how beauty YouTube hates harsh lines. Okay, I think this is looking pretty nice. So now I'm going to take my Pixie Epoxy glitter glue. I'm literally scraping the last bits. I'm going to apply a tiny layer of that here onto my moving lid. Now I'm going to go back into the Utopian Dream palette and take this beautiful shade over here. It is like a peachy pink duochrome. It's a metallic shade, but it has such beautiful tones to it. I really like shades like this. They always seem to be going for like a more fresh look, something that is not exactly very winter appropriate. Next I'm going to go back into the Voyeuristic Vixen Quad and I'm going to take a few flakes of VR Fire Nectar over here, which is such a stunning, impactful, flaky goodness. And I'm going to apply that over top of the pinky peach shade that we applied before, just to give it slightly more golden tones and make it more impactful because of all that shine that's going to come from Rosefire Nectar. And last but not least, let's not ignore the Celestial Odyssey palette, which is my favorite Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette released this year. I'm going to take this beautiful flaky pinky golden shade and apply that into my inner corners just to complete this very, very pink look. Is this taking a too monochromatic of a direction? I don't know, maybe. There doesn't seem to be enough difference in depth between these shades, so it's starting to look a little bit too one tone. So I think what I'm going to do is layer over top of this shade. Which one am I going to choose? They're also similar. I'm going to correct the shade of this pink eyeshadow that I put into my inner corner, just because I feel like now the look is a little too flat for my taste. I'm going to take the Voyeuristic Vixen Quad and this champagne shade over here, which also has slightly pink tones to it, and I'm going to kind of go over top of the pink that I applied from the Celestial Odyssey palette, just to mix the two a bit and lighten the tone of the shade from Celestial Odyssey. Now I'm going to take the Celestial Odyssey palette again and I'm going to take this matte berry shade over here and apply that onto my lower lash line. This is very cute and very pink, but I have the urge to put something else to give it a somewhat different tone in certain lighting as well. So my hands really are itching to go into like the tiniest bit of Venusian Orchid and just apply a tiny bit of that here as well. For shits and giggles, why not? The tiniest bit. The next portion of this video is one that I would usually cut out from the footage, but I am going to keep you around today because I did actually buy 2 new products that I would like to try out together with you. I've been very curious for a really long time to try the Monsieur Big mascara from Lancome, and they were having a 40% off sale on all mascaras in one of our luxury makeup stores. So I purchased, together with the mascara, I also purchased their lash primer. Now, I have been very loyal to the Estee Lauder Little Black Primer for many years now, but I literally just finished my tube of that primer, and I thought now is a good time for me to try something different. One thing I will say though, the first time using a mascara is usually not very indicative of how the mascara is really going to be. In my humble experience, mascaras which are very volumizing tend to perform better after a couple of weeks being open, when they dry out a little bit, or at least that's how I enjoy mine the most. I am usually very loyal to my Kiko Extra Sculpt mascara. So this mascara, this is my holy grail, like drugstore type mascara. It is beautiful in terms of packaging, in terms of formula, in terms of what it does to your lashes. But, you know, as a curious creature, I do want to switch it up sometimes and try different things. So let's try the primer. Now, one thing I'm going to give it to Lancome, this is very luxurious packaging. This is an expensive product. This is the name of the product, by the way. It is an expensive product, even with the 40% off. This was around 20 bucks and this was around 20 something bucks, so together they were 45 euros. But the packaging is very luxuriously feeling. Now, this primer has a white color to it, as you can see, which is not something I'm used to. The Little Black primer is not, it's not black, but it is a very dark color. So I'm just going to apply a layer of this, and I'm going to do what I would usually do with my Little Black primer mascara, which is apply this and not wait too long before I apply the mascara over top. And you can see that your lashes do become a little bit white. I can also feel that they have become a little bit more pronounced and almost stiff. Now I'm going to go with the Monsieur Big Mascara, which has this kind of wand, which I really like. Uh-oh, I'm almost out of battery. Okay, I'm going to apply the mascara, like I said, without waiting too long, but I am going to experiment a little bit, because it might be that with this specific primer I actually should wait a little bit before I apply the mascara. I will give you an update on that, but so far this is the kind of wand and the kind of formula that I really like. It's not too liquid. It is a little bit thick, and it's the kind of mascara that is going to dry over the course of time. My battery died, you guys, so I kind of completed the look without you, but I wanted to give you a quick first thoughts on the Lancome primer and the Monsieur Big Mascara. Let me zoom you in so that I can show you actually. I don't think that I quite achieved the effect that I was looking for, because usually my lashes are a little bit longer. So I think the mistake that I might have made is that I did not wait for the primer to dry. Maybe once it's dry and it stops having that white color is the moment I have to apply the actual mascara. But because I'm so used to the Estée Lauder Little Black primer, where you really shouldn't wait too long, because if you wait too long your lashes get really stiff and it really doesn't work with applying mascara after that. Maybe with this one I actually have to try it the other way around. I have to wait for the primer to dry before I apply the mascara. But I think it's too early to tell how I feel about either of these products, because I don't think I applied any of them to their optimal fullest potential. And let me zoom you back out. I'm wearing the lipstick in the shade Spirited Away from Lisa Eldridge. This is one of her cream lipstick formulas. I really love this formula. I've just discovered it this year, and I think it's just such a comfortable, buildable lip balm that especially on days when I'm feeling a little bit more I will go for something comfortable and cozy like this, just because it's like a, you know, it's like a safety blanket for me. I do think I might have overestimated how well I feel after the booster, because I do feel a little bit, yeah, I do feel like my overall mood is a little bit more subdued today, and that's probably coming across in this video. I apologize for that, but I hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!